There we go. Okay. All right, so new parak. Parak Yesh Neichlin. This is also a 30 blot parak. It's all about Yerusha, inheritance, how it works. It's all interesting shilas out there. Is it a chiyuv to make it Yerusha? Whose mitzvah is it? Is on the one who's dying? It's on the recipient. Is everybody mechuyev to make a Yerusha? What about giving Yerusha to women? Right? Okay, whatever it is. So the Mishnah goes through. The Mishnah goes through four madrigas. So, there are those that inherit and also give over. Meaning manchilin. What's the article uses? Bequeath. Bequeath. So there are those that yarshin and could also give over Yerusha. There are those that yarshin and cannot give over. Well, the Mishnah is going to go through all the cases. Then there's manchilin. There are those that can give over Yerusha, but they will not inherit, which is really the opposite of the previous case. And then there's loy neichlin, v'loy manchilin. There are those that don't inherit and don't bequeath. So four madrigas. So let's see what they are. These are the ones that it's meaning basically, is it a two-way street or a one-way street? Right? There's four madrigas. The first one is that it's a two-way street. Second one is that it's a one-way street for the inheritor. Then the other one is it's a one-way street for the bequeather. And then there's where nobody gets. All right. So these are the ones that inherit and give over. A father with sons, right? That's the most pashut one. Right? Meaning, and it goes both ways. V'habonim es ha'av. So it's the father with the sons and the sons with the father, meaning if the sons die and the sons don't have kids, then the father, that's what the Amud Beis is going to be about. Normally, a father dies, the kids inherit. If kids die and they don't have kids, so then the father inherits. And brothers from the father, they inherit and they go. So meaning all of them, meaning those three, father, son, son, father, and brothers from the father. There's no brothers, but maternal brothers, meaning with the same mother, don't. Right? So brothers on the father, those both work both ways, meaning one inherits and one could give. But ish es imoy, a man yarshins his mother, but ish es ishday, and a man could yarshin his wife. Ubnei achoyes, and the sons of sisters, right? Neichlin, they inherit, but they don't give over. Meaning, a guy can inherit his mother or his wife, or his wife from his mother's brother, right? But when he dies, they don't inherit him. We'll see in the Gemara. The Gemara is going to go through all these. The Gemara is going to go through all these scenarios and where we learn. Basically, we learned it out from Sukkim. Isha, the third category is the Isha espanea, a woman to her sons. Isha espaila, and a woman to her husband. This is the three opposite cases of the previous case. Achia aim, and brothers from the mother. So then manchilin, they could give over but they don't inherit, which the chayr is extra, because this is just the exact opposite. Meaning, if you said in the second case that all these three inherit and they don't give over, so then why do you have to say and these three give over and they don't inherit? You just said it. Okay. In the last case, achin minaim, brothers from a mother, like neichlin veloy manchilin, they don't inherit and they don't give over either. Yeah, those are the four categories. But also to keep in mind, eventually everybody inherits, meaning any yid, if let's say there'll be two yidden left in the world, they're going to inherit each other, even if they're not related. Meaning, as you go, the only ones that don't have anybody to inherit is a ger who doesn't have any kids after he becomes a ger. Other than that, everybody has somebody who can yashin them. Okay, so then the Gemara asks technically, so what's the first example? The father yarshins the sons, and the sons the fathers. The Gemara says, isn't that out of order? The norm would be right that the son yarshins the father, right? Isn't that's the most normal case? Why do you say that the father inherits the kids bereisha? Why don't you say sons yarshin the father bereisha? Why? One reason to do this is that why would you start off a perek with Peronius? Now, why is it Peronius? One of them is dying. So it's Peronius because it's more of a Peronius for a father to lose a child than it is for a child to lose a father. It's the norm of the world for a father eventually to pass away. It's not the norm of the world for a father to lose a child. So that's the first kasha. So why are we starting with a sad case? Antom based. At Kiddusiv, it says Ish kiyomus ben enloi. It says a man dies and he has no sons. That is the pasuk. So if he doesn't have a son, so you see that's the norm. That that if he does have a son, he does inherit. It's a very fascinating thing that there is no pasuk in the Torah that says a son inherits the father. We're going to see this now for the next two blot. It's going to be all drushes. There's no pasuk. Yerusha is a big thing. It's in the Rambam. It's the last mitzvah in the Torah. In the mitzvahs are saying in the last it's the Ramach, right? So,
how about from Avraham Avinu? Avraham Avinu tied up to the Rabbanu Shalom. Eliezer was going to be inherit me. His time was he didn't have any sons to inherit him. So you see, there is an inheritance from the father.
No, it's true, but there's no beferish mitzvah in the Torah that says a son inherits the father. It's all roundabout. It's a fascinating thing. We're going to see that now. It's all around. What's the pasuk right here? How do we know it? Because ish kiyamos uben enla. He doesn't have a son.
But is it listed as a mitzvah to say?
What?
It's a halakha, but not a mitzvah. Is it a mitzvah to say? Like it's a cool say?
Yeah.
That you inherit? I mean, how do you do that? Yeah.
Well, that's part of the question. That's what we're discussing.
What do you do? You stand up. You take the. If I inherit $1,000 from my, take the money account. But,
yes, that's part of the issue.
How do you?
Yes, that's what we're saying. That's part of the issue. Is there a kinyan? Is there a kinyan? Is there no kinyan? Right? Okay. Anyways, but that's the pasuk. It says Ishki Yamasu Ben Enloi. So the Gemara answers, the Tana, we've had this concept before. Whatever's learned out from a drasha is more chaviv. So a father yashining a son is a drasha. So Mamela, even though it's less beferish in the Torah, but since it's learned out from this, so Mamela that has more chaviva. So we learned that first. Okay, and my drasha, what is the drasha that a father yashins his son? The Tanya, it says in the Brisa, it says she'eroi. Yeah, it says, really it's kedai if anybody has time over Yom Kippur. If you look in Bamidbar, Perek Chav Zayin, Perek Chav Zayin, it's around Pasuk Yud Aleph is all the psukim of Yerusha. So it's kedai to look at it. But anyways, in my drasha, the Tanya she'eroi, right, a share, a relative, zeha'av. That's referring to a father, meaning that the father of the person who died yashins him. That teaches us that a father comes before the brothers. Yeah. Okay. Meaning before the brothers of the person that was nifted, the father goes first. So you would think that he should even go before the son, meaning the guy that died has a father, he has a brother, and he has a son. So we're saying now that the pasuk says she'eroi, that's referring to the father. The father yashins before the brothers. Okay, but what about the son? It says the she'eroi who's karev, who's closest. Karev kaidem. The one who's closest goes first, and a person's children are more chaviv to him than his parents. Okay. Then the Gemara asks, Mari, so what do you see? The rabbis is a ben So what are you saying? You're saying that you're going to include the son, and you're going to exclude the brother. I would include the son. I mean, I'm sorry. That's a kasha. Where do you get that from? Who says? Who says that you should say it that way? So Maran says, ben, I'm going to include a ben, shekain kam tachas avav liyada, ulastei achuza. A son takes over his father for yiyud. Yiyud is that a man when he buys himself what do you call it, an Oma Ivriya, so he can marry her. He could decide to marry her. He doesn't have to give her any more money, right? And the son is entitled to marry her also. So you see, and a brother doesn't get that. Meaning, if a guy has a Oma Ivriya, a Jewish slave, and he wants to give it over to his brother, he has to marry her properly. If he wants to give her over to the son, he does not have to marry her properly, right? So she can come tachas avaliyada ul'steyachuza. And steyachuza, we know that's the land that a person gets Yerusha from all the way from Yeshua. And if he makes it into Hektish, nobody's allowed to be paided. He has first dibs on it until Yovel. And it gets prorated one shekel per year. But the son also has a right to be paided of the field until Yovel. After Yovel, it goes to the Kehanim and the guy loses it. Right? So the son is entitled to be paided. The brother is not entitled to be paided. So you see that because the son is like the father by Yiyud and by Steyachuza, so too he gets more kadima by Yerusha. But the Gemara says, Adarav, can come tachasachav liyibum. But a ach has chashivus when a guy dies without kids. Who does the yibum? His father or his brother? His brother does it. So you see, a brother has more shaykhis, right? So the Gemara says, "Klum yesh yibum elu makom shein av." Well, it's no raya, because when is there yibum? I'm sorry, shein ben. Klum yesh yibum elu makom shein ben. When is there no yibum? That's when there's no son. Haba makom sheyesh ben ain't yibum. But if it's a makom that there is a ben, then there's no yibum. Meaning you're trying to bring a raya that the brother has kedim by yibum. There, the whole reason for that is because the guy doesn't have a son. If he'd have a son. Well, you can't say it'd be Yibum because there's no Yibum, but the point is there's no son. Meaning we're trying to figure out who goes first to Yerusha, the brother or the son. So you're trying to bring a raya from a case that the brother goes first for Yibum. Yeah, but there's no son in the picture. If there was a son in the picture, the whole case wouldn't be. So you can't bring a raya that the brother's going before the son. So then the Gemara asks, so the reason why you're saying that the son comes first is because you had this kasha on Yibum. But if it wouldn't be for this kasha, if you would have thought that the brother is taka comes first before the son, typically you could answer the kasha on Talmud Aleph. The son has two places where he's considered like the father. For Yiyud, like we said, right? He can marry the Amma Ivriya without doing anything, and he also yarshins the field for the steyachuza, and the brother only has kadima by yibum. So my answer, steyachuza gufa mehai taimahu the kakaim latana. The Gemara says the steyachuza only comes from this shlugab that what klum yesh yibum elam makom shein ben. Is there yibum only in the makam that there's no son? Or yesh ben ain't yibum, but if there's no son, there's no yibum, right? Meaning, we're trying to say that why don't you just say that a son has two advantages: is yiyud and steyachuza, and the brother has yibum, right? But the way we know the din of steyachuza is from yibum, right? Meaning the same shakavatah we had over here is where we know yibum from. Is how we get to it. So it's going through yibum. So mela, we have to say that yibum slugs it up, right? Meaning in the Gemara in Erchin talks about the steyachuza, that somebody could be played in the field. It says somebody could be played. It doesn't say who. It doesn't say son. It doesn't say brother. So the Gemara goes through shakavataya. Well, is it the brother or is it the son? Right. So, and how does it know this? The same thing is it the son has yiyud and the brother has yibum, right? So Mamela, you have that back and forth. So if without yibum though, you wouldn't be able to prove stay achuza, right? So since you can't prove it without yibum. So by slugging up yibum, that's how you slug up that it has to be the son and not the brother. Okay, I hope that's understandable. Ema,
what's the whole question here? Why we what's the premise to say that a brother is closer than a father?
I don't know if there is a premise.
But that even in the Maskana, that's true. The Gemara should just say a father's closer than a brother, so or a son's closer than a brother.
The Gemara does say that a son is closer than a father. That the Gemara says.
Yeah, but not the brother. And then immediately asked, why you being Mamai the brother and
right.
including the back? Okay, because he's closer. The Joshua was a Karev Kaidim. So the Gemara has a Havamina that the brother is closer than a son. But the Maskana is no, okay, fine. But even the Maskana, the brother is closer than the father.
Even the Maskana, the brother is closer than the father.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be a kasha at all. If the father's closer
I don't
than the
know.
brother.
Yeah, Anachanami, I'm not sure why. And to make things even more complicated, the Gemara is going to say in the next daf that don't pay attention to the order of the Yerusha in the Torah, right? Don't pay attention to that. So it's drushes. What should I tell you? It's drushes. So it's a little hard to understand.
Could it be because the father's a Rav? Is that what we do? That lumdus?
Maybe.
And the Ach is definitely a brother.
Right.
From the same mother. At least that.
I don't know. Let's see a little bit more, another like 10 lines, because it's all part of one sugya. And then anyways, tomorrow night is a rough night to do a daf. Ema. So, but let's say, but now we're gonna say. So right now we're saying son goes first, then father, then brother. Now Gemara is gonna say Ema Shara, maybe Sheiroi. I'm sorry, Zeha'av. Maybe it means the father of the person who died. Melamid Sha'av Kaidem Labas. Maybe it's coming to tell you that the father goes before somebody's daughter. Yochel Yaktim Leben. So then I would say, okay, so then maybe the father should go even ahead of the son. HaKarav, the Karav Kaidem. Karav goes first. Meaning, why didn't the Gemara learn at the pasuk this way? So my answer is Yibum Benu Baski Adadininu. Since by Yibum a son and a daughter are the same, meaning if somebody has a son or a daughter, there's no Yibum, then Yinachalanami Benu Baski Adadininu. So by inheritance, a Ben and a Bas is also the same. Right? So just like we say a son yashins the father, so then the daughter also is yashin the father. The Gemara says, "Ve'ema she'eroi ze'ha'av." She'eroi means is referring to the father. Melamed sha'av koydem la'achiyav. Maybe this is telling us that the father comes before his brothers. Right? Meaning, like it's hard to understand that. Why would you think, which is really going to be the Gemara's teretz? Why would you think that that an uncle of the nifter yarshins before the nifter's father? But that's what the Gemara is saying, that you have to learn out. Melamed sha'av koydem la'achiyav yochel. So you think the Karav comes first. Right, so mean, why don't we dash it in that way? Pasuk to say that the brothers
You froze. We can't hear you.
Mine back on?
Now you are, but you froze. We couldn't hear you.
Where did I leave off?
We just said Karov, and then
Karov. Okay, so I'm sorry. So then the pasuk says the Gemara. Okay, I'm not frozen. Thank you. The Aiva Shara is Ha'av, right? We're saying that the father, the Sheiroi, is referring to the father. which teaches us that the father comes before his brothers. And then you think, okay, maybe he comes before the nifter's brothers. Why don't we dash in it that way? Meaning that you need a pasuk to tell you that the father comes before his brothers. So Gemara says, you don't need a pasuk to say that the father's brothers don't yarshin. Because why? Where are the brothers from the father coming from? Meaning you're only in the picture here because you're the father, the nifter's father's brothers. So mikoyach mankut. So who are the nifter's father's brothers coming from? They're coming mikoyach av. Koy av. So it means the father's alive. Yarsi achi av. So then the father's brothers are gonna yarshin when the father's still alive. Meaning it's one thing if the father of the nifter is not around, so then maybe his brothers could yarshin. But if the whole schus of the brothers is because they're the brothers of the nifter's father, and the father's still around, so of course the father's going to go first. You don't need a pasuk for that. So Gemara says, "V'hai kroi lav hachi ksivi." I'm sorry, but the pasukim are not written like that. It says if there's no brothers to the father, right? That comes later, right? So Mamela, it sounds like the father goes after everybody else. So when it says Kroi Shalai, I thought it was yesterday's stuff. It was today's stuff. Kroi, well, it's tomorrow's stuff. Kroi Shalai Kasudran Ksivi. You can't bring any rise of what's written in the psukim, what's not written in the psukim, because the psukim are not written in order. And since they're not written in order, you can't consider anything. Okay, it's drushes. So drushes is hard. It's hard to understand the drushes and how they're dashing. But okay, short, sweet, and to the point. Stop over there.
Does the wife have any yarshin anywhere there or not really?
Tons of cash. What?
Yeah, the wife has any yarshin?
So we're not really done for you can darshan if you want. Now we don't feel bad.
Yeah.
You already had that in the
I better
middle.
go. What do you say?
Okay, go.
No, what's your question?
Does the wife have any rights?
The wife does not yarshin. No, that's what we saw in the Mishnah. The wife does
nothing.
Yeah, they give over. They don't. They have to be taken care of by the estate, but they don't yarshin. Yeah. All right. Tell him, yeah. Good gimel. I'm saying, Mizbala David. Adona, Adona Tishkeni Netzach. Adona Tastes Benechem Imeni. Adona Osha Seitzes Benafshi Yogim Bava Yomim. Adona Yom Ovi Layapita Nini Adona Layira. Kenisha Namavis. Pen Yomer Ovi Yichalta Tzari Yagilu Ki Yamai Bani V'chasta Chavatachi Yogel Gibi B'Shu Asacha. Shivul Adona Ki Gamal Eloi. Pinnacle Base Yisrael and Asum Basar Shiva Yom Devim. Basha Makan Mirachem. Yafelu Lord Mashiva the Gul Hashtov Agalov Span Karib and Mar Ome. All right, Gemara Sim Taiva. Oh man, you too. Thank you.